Hello and welcome to Yoga with Laura Ashland, another session of our many sessions together. And I would like to thank Sam and Anne and Pam. These are people that donate to this channel and get a good yoga practice out of it in their homes, and they feel that it is worth it to donate any amount. And it is very much appreciated. It keeps the efforts going. I love to do it. It's right here in my home, and I am hoping to introduce it to you in your home, and that you continue to practice. Go back to the beginning and loop through them again, and then keep going on, and then go back to the beginning. That's the beauty of YouTube, is to be able to continue to visit any of these sessions and continue to practice. Most important. There are several different levels to yoga practice, from very basic beginner, staying safe, to intermediate and to the advanced movements. Some that don't even need to be achieved, because it's not about the postures. It is for our instructors to teach the people, not necessarily the posture. And also to come to a place on your mat where we become unstuck. I think we get blockages in the body, and we come back to this mat to open those blockages, whether they're emotional or physical or both, and to just kind of reconnect with yourself here, getting back to you again. Today's practice will be triangle, side angle, and we will do some modified versions, and we will do a little bit more intermediate level as well. As you see, I have my props with me. I have a chair. It's into the edge of the rubber. We could even press it into the wall to really secure it. Also, there are blocks. So if you have a chair in the house and you want to get it into your rubber mat, that's great. Go get it now. Or of course, blocks or books that are stable and are thick enough. These blocks are easily attainable. This is live. Anyway, triangles today. Triangle is in Sanskrit Trikonasana, and tri or trini is three, and of course tri in the English language is a three-sided shape. So Trikonasana, kona is angle, so it's a three-angled asana posture. Trikonasana, or we can just say triangle, that's perfectly fine. So to begin with, the first one that we're going to do actually seems to look like a kneeling side plank, but it's still very much a triangle. As I turn to get all fours together and turn with me, let's go ahead and kickstand out that left leg. We've done this before in the other sessions. Noticing that the knee and the palm need to be in line. If I'm too open, they're under my shoulders. I'm going to bring my hand in just a little bit to get that nice line between palm and knee. Extending the right leg, we're forming the beginnings of triangle. Now, the only difference between being low to the floor here and being higher in the air would be the low limb of the left leg. The two calf muscles, the two low shins, and the foot. It would be more underneath me, straight up, and then I would reach any height for triangle. But here is a basic kneeling side plank into a modified type of a triangle here. Triangle is to roll open the spine and to roll open the heart, keeping the hip neutral. I don't want to drop the hip in. It can be neutral here, or maybe a little bit more lifted in the pubic bone and the two hip points. And then comes the arm, lifting, breathing into the back of the heart, lifting the sternum. Having the head in between the two shoulder points is fine, or turning. 3 to 5 breaths once we find our position. Breathe through the diaphragm. Let that diaphragm expand and contract. Quieting the face. Relaxing the neck. When you're ready, on your next exhale, I'm going to rotate the face into neutral first, then take the top arm, re-roll the spine, bring in that extended leg, and re-kickstand the left leg. Let's press back on an exhale to child's posture just to rest. Inhale, come to all fours. And as we continue through triangle, we'll stay on the same side at first, and then we'll switch and go to the other side. So let's go ahead and, again, curl the toes, maybe a little tapping at the tops of the pads of the toe bud. Then very gently into the stem of the toe, it's kind of tender, and then we find the ball of the foot. So I pick up the knees, find the ball of the foot, extend through the down dog for just a moment. We're just getting warmed up. 3 to 5 breaths here. Also, a triangle shape. And of course, triangle is the strongest shape that we have. Now I'm going to look up between the thumbs, pick up those heels, and step that left foot forward, behind the hands or in between the hands, whatever you wish. Don't forget, you can always go out and get it, take it, and bring it up to the front of the mat. Now as I turn my back foot at 45 degrees, I'm going to roll open and roll open. And triangle comes mostly out of the warrior two. If you need to bring your legs closer together, I recommend that you keep that front leg very stationary as you take heel toe up. This feels very good. If I want to open it a little bit more and challenge myself, get the heat going, get a stretch going, heel toe here. So all of this is up to you, but remember we are heading into triangle rather than doing the flow. So these are static postures. Today, the Iyengar people will appreciate the static postures, lining it up, bringing the plumb line with, setting up chakras and all the atoms in the line. Now here, triangle will be modified. You can certainly bend in to that left knee over left ankle. I'm going to take the long bone of my left arm over the long bone of the upper thigh, staying away from knee joint, hip joint, wrist joint, elbow joint. So it's a cross. And again, here we are, rolling open the spine, rolling open the heart, neutral in the pelvic girdle. Get the bottom arm and thigh nice and secure to fly that right limb. I may choose to turn and look up, or just safely look in between both shoulder heads. This is an active hand. It's not a pretty dancer hand. This is a powerful hand. You can, of course, paddle the hands together by bringing your fingers together, paddle the hand, or you can open the fingers. But engaging the muscles of the hand will engage the muscles of my low forearm, my upper arm, my shoulder, all the way into the back, down into the sides, into core, just from igniting the hand. So this is modified triangle or Trikonasana. Another version after 3 to 5 breaths here is to take the chair, bring it close to you, and instead of coming thigh and lower forearm bone crossing, I may decide to put the hand on the chair. But double check that you have security in that chair into the rubber or into a wall. I may get a little less range because now my spine is at 45 degree versus if I could lower to get my spine parallel to the floor, I'll have more opening. But here's just the 45 degree version. So we're rolling. Breathe into the back of the heart. Awareness at the sternum. Fly the hand. Now you can straighten that left knee a little bit, but I always recommend a micro bend in the knee rather than slapping the leg back. That's a lot of pinching of the meniscus here, that nice little gasket or pad in between the leg bones, right behind the patella. So I don't want to press and just let that flop back. I want to have a tiny micro bend, especially for the hyperflexion people. But if you choose to be more in your bend, then you can be more in the bend. Any of these ranges are good. From over the ankle to micro bend, looking a little straighter. Another version of modified Trikonasana. Now we will straighten the, we will bend the left knee in, bring the arms close to the heart, hands close to the heart, and then come up through the warrior two, just to relieve spine, get the spine back perpendicular to the floor. I may go ahead and pick up that left foot, turn the ankle, turn the foot. That brings everything around even, and then just kind of balance it all out with a nice forward moment, nice flexion of the hip to counter that extension and a deep lateral flexion of spine. On the next inhale, we'll bring the arms up as high as the rib cage. Take it all the way up. And bring your hands back to your heart on the exhale. Now, as we're beginning to lift off the floor in our Trikonasana, we started low, kneeling side plank, very low triangle, mid-plane, chair, countertop. Now what we'll do with the triangle is we'll aim a little bit lower. However, I do want to show you in triangle, starting from that warrior two. A lot of people, especially the flexible people, will think it's important to get to the floor. So they'll inhale and straighten that leg, micro bend that leg. They'll reach forward, we'll go through that in a moment, and then they try to get all the way to the floor. And if that is comfortable for you, try that, go for that. But I feel very scrunched up in the left hip. So I'd like to be up out of that hip joint, ball and socket joint, to lift more of that spine, and then rotate open. So a block is a really terrific tool to lift me off of the sinking, just because I can sink and the hamstring stretch behind me. It's not necessarily important that I'm here. Those are other postures. So in triangle, I want to be lifted more. So find your block or your chair. This is now a little bit more of a micro bend in the knee. And here comes triangle. Now this triangle has 3 different triangles within it. The tip of my fingers to my foot, one big triangle. I also have a triangle here. Hand at the floor, which I'm not recommending, hand on block, pit, hip, and back down. So there's a little triangle here. There's also a triangle of just the feet to the groin and back down again. So 1, 2, and then a third. So 3 triangles, that's fairly powerful and very strong. 3 breaths to 5 breaths, let them be yours. Breathe naturally. Soften the face. And the last move will be Ardha Chandrasana. Ardha is half, Chandra is moon, asana, of course, posture. So Ardha Chandrasana is a half moon balance. And again, if you need the chair, use the chair. You can also go up against the wall with your entire back and just lean those heels into the wall and use a wall for your alignment and for your support. But what we'll do here is I'm going to move this block off just a little bit, skip up with my foot, realign, there we go, and then bring up the leg and balance here. Again, I'm using the block so that I'm not scrunching down on that left hip and getting too low to the floor. I want to lift. Ardha Chandrasana. On an exhale, I'm going to bend that front knee, find my floor with my back foot, tiptoe it back. Come hands to heart, and then inhale, come up, so that the power comes from core to lift the spine up, rather than dragging the spine up and flying my hands everywhere. I'd rather stay close to the body and come up. I'm going to lengthen this left leg, drop the talus bone in, turn the foot, exhale, breathe it out. Inhale, come back up again, bend those knees. Hands and arms as high as the rib cage, and then coming straight up. Now we'll try the other side. You saw the demonstration of the chair. You certainly can bring the chair to this side if you wish, or if you're at home, rather than me have my back to you, I simply would start out from the warrior two here, right? If I'm having a home practice, just turn the body rather than turn all the props. And here we are. But I don't want to have my back to you, so I'm going to bring the props over to this side. And here we go. Lowering down, turning, stepping back, bringing the knees to the ground and starting our kneeling spinal balance, which looks like a baby triangle. Kickstanding out the right leg. I could have my toes up, watch that driving of the knee into the mat, or put a washcloth or a cushion here. You could also press the entire shin. That engages the hip socket, upper thigh bone. Turning that left leg now into extension right down the mat, hand, knee, foot. Remember, your foot is parallel to that short line in the mat. Engaging through the pubic bone and the two hips. I'm rolling open the spine. Actually, I'm rolling open the thoracic spine, the ribs. And breathing into the back of the heart, lifting through the sternum, engaging your core, engaging the low shin on that right leg, engaging the left foot. A little baby triangle. I'm only missing the lower limb of the right leg. And again, paddling or opening. Couple more breaths. Exhale. Head comes first. Cervical spine in line. Then roll gently, slowly, carefully. That arm, I'm stretching the lats, a little bit of a twist too. So I'm on the move and twisting. So be very careful here. Slowly come down. Place the extended leg back underneath the hip and re-kickstand the right limb in. Come back to child's pose for a nice stretch, relaxation, recollection. Inhale. Hands come, shoulders come over the wrists. There goes the toes. Lean back into the ball of the foot. Extend through a moment of down dog. Adjust your body. We can adjust deliberately. We can adjust quietly. But nevertheless, adjust. That's a true practice. That's not getting locked into a position that you're uncomfortable being in and then growing from there. You're just going out on the edge. So readjust anything that you need to. Looking forward, I am going to pick up those heels. I'm starting to bring that right foot toward my hands. You can step it up a little bit at a time. Go around the outside edge here. This 180 arc. Turning that back foot about 45 degrees. Bringing in the power of the right foot, thigh, as the foot not only goes down into the mat, but I'm also getting energy back up out of that mat. Turning spine to neutral so it floats over the pubic bone, a hold in the pubic bowl, and here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reach. Not a big sassy kick. We don't want to over kick the hip. It's really just I'm leaning. This is moving back toward the left as my spine comes toward the right. I may decide to hold my chair. Roll the spine. You can circle sweep the arm up, but if that's a shoulder issue, I like and have been preferring for years now, hand on the shoulder and grow it from the shoulder head. Paddling the hand, opening the hand, but engaging that hand. Now I'm offline on my wrist, elbow, and shoulder here, but I'm not directly down onto the floor with it. I'm using that 45-degree arm as support. If you wish, you could bring it a little closer. Just makes me a little higher. Or press away. On the next exhale, neck comes to neutral first. Bend in. The micro bend of that right leg became maybe the 90-degree, maybe not all the way to 90-degree, but I got power in that right leg. Hands come to heart space. Inhale, press up. Neutralize the spine. Right over pelvic bowl. Everything is facing the long line of the mat except my right limb. 3 joints of that right leg. Inhale as I pick up the right toes, press that talus bone or the heel bone into the mat. Use that, that's a powerful bone. Turn. Exhale. Release everything, relax everything. Readjust. Bending the knees, arms as high as rib cage or shoulder, and then come to rise up. So the rising comes from the power of the legs. I'm going to go ahead and remove the chair. Bring in the block. Remember, there's lots of heights. Higher, a little lower, and wider, a little lower. Now if you get high and it gets wobbly here, you can use 2 blocks. Now you've got height and you've got good full support of the widest part of that block. So these are all choices. I'm usually putting the block by the ankle. I don't know if you might want to have it back here a little bit. That will bring that wrist under shoulder. So you decide between big toe and maybe about 4 inches beyond that heel. This little range here, it looks like it's a double block, here to here, where you would put your block in order for the hand to go down safely. But remember, we're using the block so we don't have the hip scrunch. Just because I can get down here, or I can even get to the ankle, and again, this is a light touch of the ankle, I don't know that I want to be so scrunched. I actually like the lift. I might go onto my fingertips to get more lift. There we go. Better. Roll. Inhale, come up. Micro bend in that right knee. Draw up the energy from the femoral muscle and the quads into the hip. Pal, part open, all the way open. Explore. Couple more breaths. Trikonasana. Relax your face and the neck. Synchronize the breathing. Exhale, neck into neutral first. Bend into that right knee. Hands can circle sweep around. If you're into that sweeping, go for it. If not, I really like them quiet at the heart. Engaging downward in that left thigh, inward in that, right thigh, to bring you back. Toes are loose, ball and heel, sealed like we've learned in all the other sessions. Okay, here we go for our Ardha Chandrasana, half moon balance. Another level of triangle posture to this. I'm just lifting more off the floor. I'm lifting my leg off the floor and balancing. Be careful, you could have a spotter at home with you to help you with your balance, or go into a wall, and the wall could be your back spot for you, so I recommend that. I'm going to place my block out about 3 to 5 inches from my baby toe at a diagonal. If I get here, for me, that's too much of a line. So I like to counter that balance by putting that block off to the side a little bit. Preparing. I'm going to come forward into that block. It seems like a reach now, but as I bring this leg up and I come from this right leg, I'm right on top of that block. I'm at the top of my mat. I'm off center of the room, but it doesn't matter. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon balance. Flex the left ankle, press the left heel. Bending the right knee, brought my hip down. There goes the toes. Hop back, hands to the heart center. Inhale, come up. I'm center of the mat again. So Ardha Chandrasana does bring us a little bit forward on the mat. I recommend a spotter if you're doing the balance. If you're doing just triangle, you're fine. Floor, chair, modified, low forearm over the upper thigh, or little lift, find a block, or the shin, be careful, nice micro bend in the knee. Picking up the right toes, driving the right talus bone in, exhale. Nice flexion in the hip here. Nice lengthening of the low back. Now all those legs stretching out and wide angle spread. It would be really nice to fold and tuck. Keeping the heels high. You could also have a block too for the back of the heels if you wish. That feels yummy too. And let the back sink toward the pelvic bowl. So many different varieties of set up the posture, and you've established the stance and the posture, and you are static with it and you're comfortable with it. Then begin the 3 to 5 even breaths, deep breaths, calming breaths to establish that posture even deeper. And here we go. Block for the head. Pressing my feet into the mat. Draws the spine in lengthening. Pull the belly. Create that concaved feeling in the belly. Breathe into the back body. The back of the lungs, the back of the heart. Settle the front body, the front of the heart. We were lifting and rotating that spine to feel like we were flying in triangle posture. And now it's come to this beautiful neutral rest. Find your space for final relaxation, or Shavasana. Shava is corpse or dead, and I prefer to think it's the death of the ego, where we quiet the senses. And the last to go is the hearing. As we've challenged, building heat, building balance, and now cooling and calming. Soften the face and unhinge the jaw. Namaste.